Welcome to the SFL postgame show, an exciting night of SFL action. Let's summarize it all real quick. The Los Angeles Sharks erupt in the second half and do just enough to hold on to a two-score lead down the stretch. They beat the defending champs 33-20 for their first win as the Los Angeles Sharks to improve to 1-2. The defending champs have lost two straight, both on the road. They have one more road game next week at Houston in a rematch of the SFL championship game. The Sharks are now also 1-2. The Carolina Skyhawks got off to a good start against Santa Fe tonight, but fall 33-17. The Gorillas improved to 3-0 despite a sloppy first half, and Carolina falls to 0-3. The Baltimore Crabs tried to get to 2-1 on the road tonight, but it was the Minneapolis Maulers, led by Macc Wavy Jr. and the offense, that get the win in overtime, 30-27. It's the third straight overtime game between Minneapolis and Baltimore. The phone line is now open, 210-473-8428. Call in with your thoughts on all the games around the league tonight. If you were in action, we want to hear from you one at a time. It will likely be a crowded call tonight. This is the SFL postgame show here as Wednesday Night Football is just wrapping up. And Santa Fe, clearly the winner of the night, only the second team to get to 3-0, joining the Dallas Roughnecks. Of course, there are other undefeateds in action tomorrow night. In fact, the Sioux Falls Sparrows will be in action. 717, you're on the SFL postgame show.
You got the tight end whisperer.
Mr. Doug Boas, the tight end whisperer, and Wave Robinson was actually texting with me throughout the game tonight, and I was trying to keep composure and not let it affect me. He needs to put that phone away when he's on the field. But he had a great night, and Parky Chol did too. Has to feel good to start with, hey, Queen City, you want to trade Parky Chol, and then end up with a victory tonight.
Yeah, all that aside, there's still too much work to be done. I'm not getting too excited. 1-2 is nothing to be excited about, but finally getting that first victory feels good. I'm already looking towards Louisville, so we got to see what we can do there then. As for the Parky Chol statement, Queen City, thank you.
DJ Majesty had a great first half. Wave Robinson had a great game. But this night was about, and Parky Chol had a couple of touchdowns, but this night was about Murdoch Mock, in my opinion, and how he just was very patient offensively after he wasn't on that first play. What did you see out of Mock tonight?
Mock has been composed for the most part all season. I've been waiting for him to really, really break out. And I still don't think he's had his complete breakout game just yet. The Hawaii 5-0 line, or the Pacific 5 Pancakers as they call themselves, get the game ball from me because they blocked for Hichul. Right. He got his first 100-yard game. Finally, we got some rushing touchdowns. Had none coming into tonight. Mock's been just slinging it around. I figured they thought we'd come at him on the ground, so we wanted to hit him over the top, even though they had that tough defense against the pass and not so much against the rush. Figure we got Hichul. They're figuring we're going to unleash him on him. I went the other way around, hoping it would work. It seems to have worked. As for DJ Majesty, he's been a complete freaking monster, and I couldn't be happier with him.
33-17, Los Angeles, or 33-20 rather. Los Angeles takes down Queen City tonight. Doug Boas, owner of LA, is on the call with us. What was your approach to trying to stop Queen City's offensive attack coming into this game? Very similar game for them from last week in the sense that they just weren't on the field tonight. I have some final numbers here from the box score. Time of possession was 25-41 in favor of LA, 16-57 for Queen City. You just hammered them on the field.
Yeah, I got together with the defense. Everyone knows the story about the defense and what's going on with the defense. It was laid in my lap. So I went to my defense, said, guys, what are we going to do? They told me what they wanted to do, and they wanted to try and force pressure on Garcia tonight, and they wanted to get in his space, throw in some mixed packages, some blitzing. I said, all right, it's not my style. That's not what I'd want to do, but we're going to do it. Kudos to the defense. They made it work tonight.
Macc, 29 of 35 tonight. That's pretty good. 296
Yeah.
yards. At one point, it seemed like he had completed, 11, 12, 13 passes in a row. Each hole finishes with 111 on 26 carries, among some other standouts. Leading the way for the defense, Majesty 6 tackles. But you get to move on to next week, and you get to sort of that monkey's off your back of getting that first victory, and that's gotta make a prep for week 4 just a little bit easier, right?
For sure. The secondary, I thought, played well, considering we've given up one too many passing yards, but that's due to the playbook. We've worked on trying to get those things straight. Majesty's been a beast. Cody Ewing has been silent nightmare for people. He doesn't get the recognition. He had a huge stop tonight. I'm sure you remember that play. Very, very
Right.
key play to the night. So
Right.
huge props to Cody Ewing. Lyric Da Vinci, he's been doing his thing. He's been overshadowed because Mixon's on the other side. Nobody wants to go to the Russian. It's like playing Russian roulette. But don't go to Lyric either. And then you got to deal with those safeties who are totally being underrated due to their level, if you will. But they've played phenomenal. Watkins has been good. Buckerson has been good. The defense as a whole has played well, and most of their negatives fall into the lap of the offense, not churning out the yards, keeping them on the field too long. But once we get both these playbooks tweaked a little bit more, I'm thinking people will get to see what the Sharks can really be about. But not getting overconfident, not going to get arrogant about it. Still much work to be doing because we're settling for one too many field goals.
Doug Boas, owner of the Los Angeles Sharks, gets his first win tonight as an SFL owner. Congrats, Doug. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. And Eric Barkley, job well done tonight, buddy.
All right, that was Doug Boas. Open line now, 210-473-8428. If you were a player, coach, owner in action tonight, got a chance to watch the game, give us a call. We want to get your reactions and get your thoughts and your comments of what you saw on the field tonight. 865, you are on the SFL Postgame Show.
What's up?
Do I have, is this Maurice?
Yes, sir.
Maurice Spurgeon, cornerback of Carolina tonight. Carolina takes another L, but some tremendous defense for most of the night out of these guys. Juan Bosco had just 8 catches for, and I'm trying to get the final numbers here because I don't have the graphic. But while I search for that, what is your takeaway from this night? Because there's a lot more positives than maybe in the first couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, we finally got Johnny English going. And it's just a matter of playing a complete game. We haven't put a complete game together yet. I mean, that is what it is. That was the toughest test we faced all season. We've held a team that's normally scored 50, 60 points a game to 30. And, given the fact that our offense didn't do much in the air, that's pretty good. I mean, I felt like definitely we could have won that game. But it is what it is. There's plenty of positives to take away from it. I'm just irritated about the fact that obviously team's 0-3, but same time, James himself said that this is a rebuilding process. It's going to be a process getting the Skyhawks to be a consistent team because historically, we haven't been a consistent threat, and he's starting to change that around, and kudos to him. Kudos to our offensive and defensive coordinator for all the time they put in everything. But thing is, though, it's a 12-game season, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, the Skyhawks historically no playoff wins. Obviously, you guys are trying to change that culture. Juan Bosco just 54 yards on 8 grabs tonight. But a huge thing in this game, if people didn't get a chance to catch it or if they did catch it live, was the 2 missed field goals. For the longest time in this game, those field goals could have kept it a 1-score game, and Carolina was on the brink of pulling just what would have been one of the biggest upsets in league history. Jamison Monroe completes just 8 passes tonight, but that kicker missing those 2 field goals was huge, and I'm sure a dip in morale on the sidelines for the Skyhawks, was it not?
It was, but, we can't let it tear us apart. You know what they say, the greatest test of a man's character is when he's slapped in the face with adversity. So, gotten slapped around the face with adversity each of these first 3 games. So, we just got to say, forget about it and just go on to the next game, because next game is no slouch either. Tallahassee's defense is one of the best, but I think that's a game we can win if we put the effort into scouting and making sure everything's right. I know in my heart we can win that game. I know we can go toe to toe with Tallahassee. Nothing against them.
Hatley, your new free safety signee this week, he had 2 picks tonight. He was awesome. I know you guys are close in the secondary. I bet it felt good for you to see the young guy and Blake Chance as well get to make some great plays.
Absolutely. It's always good seeing your teammates do well. I mean, I feel like a lot of that has to do with them not testing me as much, which, my teammates get picked because they shy away from me, so be it.
Yeah, Maurice Spurgeon.
Like
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's not good. I want to pick, but, the only thing that matters to me is my team performing well.
Maurice Spurgeon on the line with us. 12 tackles tonight, 1 tackle for loss. Blake Chance, your buddy, 4 passes defended tonight along with 4 tackles. Avery King had 12 tackles for the defense. He has been a monster, a top 3 tackler in the league. You all right?
Avery King. It's just Avery King, ever since he's come into the league, has just put up back-to-back-to-back ridiculous games. It's just that's just Avery being Avery.
Yeah, he's been terrific. He also had 2 passes defended tonight, because no big deal, right? But Carolina falls to 0-3. They have Tallahassee next week, and we certainly wish you all the best moving forward. Thanks for the time, Maurice.
Thanks, you.
All right, we've got some people trying to call in. We got a busy line tonight. Try to get there first. 210-473-8428 is the phone number to call. We've talked with Maurice Spurgeon, cornerback of Carolina. We've talked with Doug Boas, the owner of the Los Angeles Sharks. Sharks get their first win tonight. Maulers get their first win tonight. 850, you're on the SFL Postgame Show.
Hey, this is T. Paterniti.
Hey, Mr. Paterniti. Hey, can you do me a favor and mute the broadcast in the background? Make sure we don't get an echo.
Yep, I just did. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. You get your first win tonight, and of course it comes against Baltimore in overtime. What other way to get your first win? And you finally get to stop hearing me say, dating back to last season, the Maulers have lost. So you finally get to put that to bed. How good did that feel?
All right. It always feels good to play the Crabs. I have a lot of respect for Tim. He's a great coach. All of our games are heart stoppers, so tonight was no exception. But, anytime the league is so competitive now, I think anytime you can go in and get a win, it almost doesn't matter who it is. You feel real good about it at the end.
Yeah, the first game, you're playing Santa Fe. You really don't know what you're going to get out of them. They certainly started the season with a bang. Then last week, Macc Wavy looked good in the first half, real good. My apologies. Tallahassee was in week 1. You didn't know what you were going to get out of them. And then Wavy looked real good in the first half against Santa Fe last week. Oh, we just lost T-Pat. Give us a call back. We'll keep the line open for you to get you back on. We just lost the signal. T-Pat, you with us?
Yeah, sorry, my call must have dropped.
Yeah, that's okay, man. This is live TV. That's what happens.
You were saying, play Santa Fe, didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, Tallahassee in week 1, you didn't much know what was going to happen. Santa Fe in week 2, you were playing them pretty tough, and Macc Wavy goes down with an injury. Did you feel like this week was really the first week you kind of had your feet under you and you said, okay, let's put a complete game together. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, I kind of did. Playbook was starting to get pretty stale, not very balanced. I mean, it was not very balanced tonight because we passed a lot, but there was a lot less just tons of screen passes, and we had our fair share, but it felt more like the kind of Maulers football that we wanted to play tonight.
I hate to tell you this, but you had more than your fair share. Boas caught 20 passes tonight.
Wow,
I couldn't believe it when I saw the box. I said 20 passes, 20 catches for 92 yards, but not a bad night for your receivers, and that was the big thing. Your rookie class, Jalen Miller, Davis Reed, they combined for 21 catches for 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. You'll take that all night long. But you mentioned that the playbook was starting to feel a little stale. Have you noticed that SFL teams and the competition, just getting better and better, and nothing is unbeatable anymore? Do you share that sentiment?
Oh, absolutely. I think the coaching has been fantastic, but I also think having more legends, more great players on the field. There's so many great combinations, things you've never seen before, things you never played against before. It really makes it tough, and every single week is a different nightmare of a challenge to go against both offensively and defensively.
Needless to say, you were probably pretty happy that Baltimore is in a different conference and not on the schedule for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, every team we played has been real tough. I did want to add that our offense gets a lot of pub, but the defense played fantastic. It seemed like Keith Cabell and Frankie Capone were in the backfield, giving them, 2nd and 16, 3rd and 16, hurrying passes, and then Ashley Odom with 2 big interceptions in the game. He didn't have the last one, but he had 2 really big ones that stopped drives, and I think really put us in the position to where we could win.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten a chance to speak with you or for you to speak publicly on what you've attempted to do in Minneapolis with the defense. Of course, that surprising playoff loss in the upset to guess who. But you sort of shift your focus defensively. You bring in 2 defensive linemen, which is something that teams are curious to stay away from. And so far, so good for those guys. They're playing pretty well, and I want to throw some numbers before I get your thoughts out on them. Cabell had 4 tackles tonight, 2 for a loss and a sack. Capone had 2 tackles. They were both sacks, so a great night for them.
Oh, absolutely. And I think I was just thinking, I just got tired of watching games where we couldn't get any pressure. That was always the story. Teams had all day to pass, and eventually they just kept finding people downfield. So I thought, maybe I'll go away from 2 corners and try to put 2 defensive ends in there and see what happens, see if I can generate some pressure. And so far I've been very pleased with the results. They've been balling out and playing really hard. And, even when we've lost, we gave up a lot of points last week. I think we just kind of ran into a little bit of a meat grinder there. But the first week and this week have been great, and the defense, if anything, has kept us in the game.
Macc Wavy, 45 of 60 tonight, 455 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A lot of people love to chatter about, Rocco Marconi's not there anymore to win ball games and pull magic out of his hat. You felt like you could slide somebody into the system and things would work out well. Big night for Wavy Jr., and you got to be happy to see him have one of those.
Absolutely, and it was hard to walk away from Rocco. Love Rocco. He's, we won a championship with him, and he's an integral part of our history and culture. But we thought it was time to kind of turn the page, get someone new and younger in there. And so we did, and it hasn't been totally seamless because the first 2 weeks, especially the first week, playing that great Tallahassee defense. We really struggled, and I put that on myself and not on Macc. But I feel like we're starting to kind of hit our stride and starting to find some things that, I don't know, we can kind of do well together. And honestly, I don't mind passing 62 times, but I'm hoping we don't pass that much next week.
Yeah, you got Cleveland next week, and the last time you met the Vipers, they played you extremely tough. Couldn't get much offense going in that game, but their defense was tremendous, and their defense has played even better this year than they did last year. Eventually that offense is going to get going, and eventually Cleveland is going to win close games instead of lose them. What do you see in that matchup next week, and generally playing a team that has had a lot of bad luck coming into the game, looking to turn karma around?
Well, I think any game plan starts with thinking about Stevie T. Diggs, because he's a force. He can take over a game all by himself. And, Cleveland kind of reminds me of Mr. Ronnie Nickens, very hard-nosed, old school football. And, they're going to play you tough, they're going to play you physical, and they're going to turn any game into a, hard-hitting grudge match. So, you better buckle up and get ready.
Thomas Paterniti, owner of the Minneapolis Maulers, gets his first win tonight, 30-27 in overtime against the Baltimore Crabs. Thanks, T-Pat. Appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
Open line now, 210-473-8428. We've spoken with Los Angeles owner Doug Boas, Minneapolis Mauler owner Thomas Paterniti, and Carolina cornerback Maurice Spurgeon. Who are we going to have next on the call as the SFL postgame show rolls on? Sharks get their first win. Maulers get their first win. Big night for the West Division. 559, you're on the SFL postgame show. 559, we got you?
Hello.
Yes, who do I have?
Macc Wavy Jr.
Mr. Wavy, congrats, man. 45 completions. That's nothing to sniff at.
Oh, yeah. Arm feels a little jelly right now.
Put some ice on it. You'll be fine. It helps.
Oh, yeah.
It helps when you got ice on your shoulder after throwing 60 times, but you got a W instead of an L. Home opener, you get to really show the fans, Rocco who, and you did your best at that tonight. Playing at home, seeing yourself out there on the field against a team that has played a lot of great games with this smaller franchise. What was feeling good for you out there, and how great does it feel to get off the schneid?
Well, it feels great to finally put that win in the W column. Finally get there, and nobody wanted to start off 0-3, so it feels definitely great to finally get that win. It's a whole team performance, though. You know what I mean? From my defense, I can't say how big they were tonight. I had a couple of picks, bad ones. Both of them, one for gonna go for the game in regulation, and then one in the first half in the red zone. So, for my D to keep on picking me up with them big interceptions, and then like my coach T-Pat said, it just looked like every time I looked up, they were in 3rd and 16, 3rd and 17. So, I'm just really happy I could help get these guys a win.
How much confidence did it give you building up that big lead early? You threw a couple of touchdowns. The first one, a 19-yard pass to Miller, and then Miller got free again about 4 minutes later for 10 yards. But those were, solid 5-6 play, quick drives. How much confidence did the team have after taking that big advantage?
It felt great. It felt good just to get on the right side of the ball. Just these couple last games we dug a hole for ourselves, and it felt good to not, to start the game in a hole. It just felt good to get out there to do what we've been doing and practicing and balling out, So finally we got to put it on the field. We let them come back, but hey, we're going to fix that next week.
Mike Osayi, 5 catches, 170 yards, and all 3 touchdowns for Baltimore. You guys ever chatted before?
No, he had a great game. You know, my one of my best friends is number 84. You know, Mr. Prince Escobar. He had a great game too. So it's great seeing them young guys out there. You know, they both we fellow rookies. So anytime I can see them play good, it's great. I don't like to see them play that good against the Maulers. You know what I mean? I would like to see that against somebody else, but you know what I mean? I tip my hat to them guys over there.
You've also got your sons playing on the team. Your sons got signed to the squad. Tell everybody a little bit about that and how they're enjoying their time as Maulers.
They love it so far. They got to catch that first half, so they seen when it was 14-3, and they had to go to football practice, so they couldn't watch the rest of the game. They had to miss it, so that when they get back, they're gonna catch it on Twitch. They begged me not to go to practice, but you know what I mean. They gotta. We gotta make. We don't go to practice. We don't start.
Hey, and for the future, for realism purposes, I don't know what you're talking about. They weren't at practice; they were on the field tonight. But I get what you're saying, and it's still a cute story anyway. But you know, Minneapolis gets to 1-2, LA gets to 1-2. I'm needless to say, go NYC Sailors tomorrow night. Cheering for the Sparrows to fall.
You know what I mean. If it happens, it happens. I don't really. I'm just worried about us in our season. We're gonna take it one game at a time. It would be great to see, you know, it clogged up right there. That's what we would like, you know, just so we could have a better position at it. But all I can say is go Maulers.
How hard was it to keep the faith after the Maulers lost 2 to start last season? The Maulers lose 2 to start this season. A lot of people saying, maybe the magic is gone. You know, maybe people have figured the Maulers out. How hard was it to shut that out and just know that eventually you guys were going to get it going?
Oh, when you have a coach like T-Pat and you got great leaders like Doug Boas, it's real hard to even feel sorry for yourself or feel bad about the situation because they're always on you and with that positive mindset. So it wasn't too hard, you know what I mean? It just really feels good to get that win and get that confidence going.
Macc Wavy Jr., quarterback of the Minneapolis Maulers, 45 completions tonight, few scores, and a victory. Mac, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Open line now, 210-473-8428. Many still trying to get through. All winners put up near the same score tonight. LA wins 33-20. Baltimore wins 30-27. Santa Fe wins 33-17. As a defense has mostly reigned supreme this year in the league. 5-1-3. 5-1-3. Try again. That was horrible. 7-3-4. You're on the SFL Postgame Show.
Santa Fe Gorillas quarterback Colin Northrup and defensive coordinator.
Mr. Northrup, well, you have to be pleased with not only getting the interception there late in the game to sort of seal things up, but you really have to be pleased with how your defense did against the pass tonight. 8 for 19. I don't care who's back there, a quarterback. You go 8 and 19 passing in this league, you're going to lose.
Yeah, that was the plan going all along. We know Johnny English is the main mail carrier, as they say, and of course we were really scared at the beginning with Wilson throwing all those interceptions. It's just fortunate that their kicker was able to miss some of those field goals so that we were able to offensively get our feet from under us and take control of the game.
The offense, as you pointed out, struggled a bit tonight. Is there a sense that, okay, you know, we enjoyed scoring 57 points a game in the first 2 weeks, but we knew this was going to happen, and now we just have to learn from it. Was that the sense tonight, or was it surprising that you were held down to that total?
It wasn't surprising. Carolina's got a really good defense. And Andy Hamilton, he obviously knows what he's doing with the defense as well as James Klein. But I was more surprised at the fact that of how many interceptions there were. But then again, it wasn't surprising.
Right.
If you think about it.
Right. You were part of Los Angeles' organization last year. You make the tough choice to go to Santa Fe, but you had an opportunity in Santa Fe to become a defensive coordinator and really sort of control your side of the ball. What was the process like transitioning from LA to Santa Fe? I know it was a tough decision for you. What did Ramos sell you on to come over to the Gorillas?
Actually, I was trying to get drafted, and there were a handful of people that reached out to me, and Ramos, was accommodating and welcoming to me, and it made absolute perfect sense for me to try and go over there and help his defense, because I know historically, especially the first year with the Montero twins being back there at safety, how good his defenses can actually be. And obviously we know how good his offenses can be, so I felt I had something to contribute. And with LA, of course, Ed was still there at the time, with Ed and Doug sort of controlling both things.
Right.
I was sort of left with not a lot to do.
Right.
So I had an opportunity to go over there, and I'm just thankful for it.
Yeah. Now, you live in Michigan in the off season. This has got to be a culture shock for you going all the way down to Mexico. Do you like? Are you a Mexican food type of guy? Do you have you been able to immerse yourself down there?
Yeah, I did take some 2 years worth of Spanish courses in high school, so I have a rudimentary understanding of the language.
Hey, so did I, but I can't speak it, so props to you.
Well, it helps when you have a lot of Spanish-speaking teammates on with you to sort of to sort it out and sort of translate it for you if you didn't quite catch what people say.
There you go. Yeah, are you able to follow, all of the lingo and the language and everything? Because I know that Santa Fe, in practice and stuff, they use Spanish quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm able to follow it. Sometimes with the guys that are more fluent, I have a harder time keeping up with them, but luckily I have English-speaking teammates to help me out.
There you go. Well, you're certainly making an impression on them because that defense is getting better and better each week. Colin Northrup, cornerback and defensive coordinator for Santa Fe. Thanks for joining us tonight, Colin.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, open line now, 210-473-8428. Colin Northrup, that's a good guy. Good guy. I always enjoy talking to him. And Santa Fe improves to 3-0. The next team that has a chance to stop the Gorillas, the DC Dragons. Santa Fe at DC, a rematch of the Season 5 championship game. If there's any game you see this regular season, why would it not be Santa Fe DC, Thursday, August 25th on the main network. 513, you're on the SFL postgame show.
You got Andy Hamilton.
513, you with us?
Yeah, Andy Hamilton, defensive coordinator, Carolina.
513, come in.
Oh.
Try again, 513. We'll leave the line open for you just a minute. We're winding down on the postgame show. There were a couple callers just now, so I want to try to get to everybody, and I'll try to keep this short and sweet. But Queen City going to have to figure out some offense. They're 1-2. Baltimore's 1-2. Man, potentially this whole division could be 1-2 at the end of the week. DC has Oklahoma City, and NYC has Sioux Falls tomorrow night. Still open line, 210-473-8428. 513 was trying to get in. I think there's another area code also starting with 5 that's also been trying tonight. 513, do we have you?
Hey, how's it going, Cam?
Hello, 513.
Hello,
Ooh.
How's it going?
Unfortunately, that's your 2-time limit. Can't keep acting silly on the postgame show. Try again next week, though, for real. We had another. Oh, you guys could hear 513. Oh, I had no idea. I don't know why I can't. 717. Let's try you. You with us?
Hello.
What is happening? 717. Don't go away. Oh,
Hey, this is
717. I can hear you now. So my apologies to 513. 717. You're on a postgame show.
Yeah.
Who do I got with me? I apologize.
Michael Shaw.
Oh, Mr. Osayi, man, and Andy Hamilton. I'm sorry. You can call in after Osayi, and we'll get you in before we wrap up the night. Big night for you. 3 touchdowns. You'd probably like to have the win, though.
Yeah, that's going to hurt in the long run. You want to come away with the win in that situation. So we can turn around next week. We're still in that really pretty tough stretch. So we got 2 more games of that, but in the SFL game, it's going to be a tough stretch.
Now, you've put the pressure on me because in the past you seem to insinuate that I'm asking you tough questions. So just to let you know, I'll keep thinking
I didn't do that.
I'll keep thinking on that because now you've created a bad pattern for yourself, and I'll see if I can come up with something. But tonight, Baltimore, Minneapolis have this history, this reoccurring theme. We have so little overtime games in the SFL. The fact that you guys have met in overtime the last 3 seasons is insane. Were you a little exhausted heading into overtime? You did a lot of running tonight, and it seemed like at times neither team wanted to win this game.
Well, every time these 2 teams face each other, it's going to be a slugfest. So you just got to go into one of these games preparing to go into overtime. So you got to be ready to play those extra couple of minutes, those extra couple of seconds, extra couple of plays, because as history shows, you're going to be not playing just a regular football's length worth of time. So it's Baltimore and Minneapolis.
You've been helping out a little bit with front office or coaching. You've just been a little bit more involved than your average player. Is that true?
Yeah.
What has that been like working with Tim Johnston and the rest of the big Baltimore staff on game planning for week to week through this rigorous schedule that you guys have going here, which you're handling fairly well so far?
Well, just teaching me new things about football I've never known, just from like gameplay standpoint, like doing all these different types of things to help out, just teaching me the game, teaching me stuff that will work, stuff that won't work, and becoming a better part of this organization.
What is Tim Johnston's worst quality?
I haven't seen any so far. I haven't seen. Oh my gosh, Cam! Cam, you kill me every single week.
Yeah.
I call it. Oh my gosh! I should have known. I should have known there was going to be one, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any so far, so I can't give a good answer on that.
Mike, thank you. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll try to throw you some softballs next week.
Nah, I already know that you're going to be blowing up another one, so I'm ready for you.
All right, Mike. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Mike with a huge night tonight. Mr. Andy Hamilton, DC of Carolina. Call back, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did you wrong there, and I apologize. I pulled the whole mute button on you. 513, you're on the SFL postgame show.
Hey, how's it going, Cam?
Hey, can you hello? No, I'm just kidding. I got you. I got you. You're here.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, thanks for being a good sport. I know it was a rough second half for Carolina's defense. How do you approach breaking down film of a game where the first half was just about as fantastic as you possibly could imagine, and then the second half wasn't?
Well, it's a whole game effort. I know Maurice called in earlier. Like he said, we got to put together a whole game. So in terms of looking at film, we're looking at the whole game. I'm not breaking it up and looking at different halves of the game. We got to play the whole game, and that's how you win it, is by winning the whole game, not just one half. I think our special teams needs to get better in terms of the kicker missing 2 big kicks that at least would have put us up by 3 at the half had he made one of them. And so in terms of defense, I think we played a pretty good game overall. My mantra this week was bend but don't break. So if they get 428 yards passing but they only score 2 touchdowns instead of 3 or 3 instead of 4, then could have been a whole different game, and I'm all right with giving up the yards if we can get the win.
Has Avery King, do you and him go out to dinner or anything to celebrate? because you and Avery are just a match made in football heaven through 3 weeks.
I don't think any of us are heading out to dinner with an 0-3 record.
Fair point.
We'll give each other we'll give each other pats on the back. I know during the first half we were all in the sidelines patting each other up. I know Tristan, who just came in this week, had a big game with 2 interceptions himself, and I think he's trying to call in within the next couple too. So we'll pat each other on the sidelines, but until we get a W, I don't think any of us are taking anyone else out to dinner.
What's the next step for Carolina? I know you guys are trying to build towards victory. You were up against arguably the top team right now in the SFL, and so it's tough to do that when you face such a huge, tall order. But what is the next step in what needs to be done to turn Carolina into a team that people say, hey, this team is scary?
In terms of this season, we move right on to Tallahassee. We don't really take any time off. We had already started looking at them earlier this week, and we will be ready for them come, I believe, Sunday. And in terms of the long run, I think the team is built very well. We're built to succeed, and the team is a lot better than the record will show. And I think sometimes we just need that luck of the bounce in terms of not hitting the upright on the field goal.
Right.
There was one play where they were on the 1-yard line and then they lost a yard, but it wasn't a safety. They were just still at the 1-yard line. So the game can be a little interesting. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, and a few of those bounces go our way, and it could have been a different outcome tonight.
Well, certainly a noticeable defense. I'm sure Santa Fe will say the same, or a noticeable difference that in Carolina tonight and how you guys defended them. I mean, at the end of the day, they scored just 3 touchdowns, and we're talking about a team that was averaging, 7. So
sure.
Certainly a good job by you, and you're not the only team working hard in this league, but you're certainly working hard, and good luck to you against Tallahassee in week 4 and the rest of the way, and always good to talk to you.
Thanks, Cam. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, that concludes the SFL postgame show. We got to wrap it up because we got to get your box scores and we got to get everything out to you. Getting prepped for another big night of SFL action tomorrow. Louisville takes on Houston in a rematch of the Teal Conference Championship game last season, but Houston has a new coach, Greg Morris, on the sideline with Alan Drum and Damon Simeon. And 347, I apologize. We're going to have to get you coming up next week because we are out of time. But also tomorrow night, D.C. and Oklahoma City will do battle from the Midwest, and Sioux Falls will host NYC tonight or tomorrow night as well. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League and the SFL Network. I am play-by-play commentator and SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine. Another successful night of SFL action. Thanks to all who make it such a big success. Your final score once more on the main network, Los Angeles 33, Queen City 20. Good night, everybody.